Hi, welcome back. Today I'll show some progress on Maps4FS together with procedural placement tools. First off, let's make sure Maps4FS is running. We'll look for our local clone of the Maps4FS repo, and we have the data folder. Over here we have a slightly customized map.i3d file. We've added some rules, we've added some tree objects. Let's make sure we have the latest version. Copy this over here. That's important because right now we can go to Docker, to our running instance. When we go to files, we should see over here user source app. And over here we have the data folder that Docker has, but we're going to override it by importing the whole data folder. Perfect. Now those are our new files. When we go to Maps4FS, we can generate a new map. I'll go look for a new location right now. I was thinking about Slovenia, over in Tolmin. Maybe this area over here. We'll see what comes up. So it should use our new files as the base image. Okay, so we're here. I think we have a nice height map. Some difference, I think we have the castle mountain. So this looks fine. We're going to download this and move it to a folder where we can find it. Extract our package. Okay, now we have the new folder with the new map files. First off, we need to create some, we need to copy some image folders. Over here in our new package, we have the map folder, and over here in data, we can paste this little script. And when we right click, we can say run with PowerShell, and it will generate a mask folder with the layers we're actually going to use as masks for our procedural generation. These masks are just based on the textures that Maps4FS has already pre-generated for us. But we need to copy them. Nothing special in the script. It's all about copying files from the data path to the mask folder. Okay, once we have those masks loaded, we can actually open up our map. Once it's loaded, we should see what Maps4FS has generated for us outside of the editor. Okay. You can see a lot of floating trees. But we have some nice fields. I think this is going to be a river. The lowest point of the valley. You have some kind of mountain hill over here. Small village. This looks nice. And already I think it stops glitching out. You already have a very nice mixture of foliage. So we're going to remove that all. Because right now everything is a little bit too close together. But if I'm not mistaken, this is directly converted from online maps. So first off, going to delete trees. We're going to generate our new ones. We'll save the map. So we can open up our procedural placement tools. There's a couple of things we have to check. Afterward, saving. Here already cannot find some masks, but that's fine for now. We still need to generate them. They will be there once we're done with our script setup. Okay, we've got a lot of rules already added. There are, I think, 2 or 3 custom rules. I'll add the script somewhere online. But most importantly, the create masks or create borders. But right now, I'll have to relink it. It will ask for a couple of masks. The masks itself are already regenerated, so we just have to select the right ones. Once the script exists, it will correctly fill in the masks for you. Or other mask. Now that's fixed, the script is fixed. I think that's all the special ones. Maybe we'll hide the field debug view for now. Okay. And we'll run our generator. While it's running, we can go back to our map folder, to the data masks folder. We generated these files earlier. Right now, the first step of procedural generation tools will create some new masks for us over in this folder. So we'll just have to wait for them. There we are. A couple of road borders, side roads, but I don't think we have side roads. Side roads looks empty. Because earlier we imported these maps from Maps4FS, for example the buildings. Now we're generating borders like this around the buildings to clear grass or other foliage. We're still running over here. I really added a lot of rules to generate some stuff for us. It's a lot of waiting. But imagine if you had to do it all by hand. Okay, finally we're there. Now you have the same world, but the 3 generated textures. Fields and roads are a lot more cut out. We have some room to actually move. Works good on some spots, doesn't at some other spots. I was playing with the sloping system earlier, but I don't think we have the right textures in the map yet. I will need to import the other textures first. Okay, now that we have this, yeah, first of all, you can edit whatever texture or foliage or objects you want. I really like the forests, they're quite diverse. There are parent-child tree rules in here, so you'll see every big tree has a couple of smaller trees around it. Okay, so let's try do something. Over here, this is cutting up our acre field, so we'll try to fix that. Let's fill in this one. Maybe we'll need to clear it from something else. We don't need it in the forest layer. Maybe sands. It does, but it doesn't get textured. So. Okay, then I think we have everything. We can rerun our rules. It'll take 7 minutes again. And then we'll see the change, so we'll see if we can adjust something else while we're here. Maybe let's fix the sloping a little bit, if we can. Then I can also show you this. Over here, the create border scripts we're running. Border generation, very important before you run it. There's a hard-coded location. You need to fix this to where this project is located. I'm looking for a way, or maybe the variable that is holding the project location so we can store it in the project files, but right now I only found the editor location and the game location. So if anyone knows where we can find a loaded project location, so we don't have to update this manually every time. We'll go to the slopes, I think. Maybe lower that. And we'll try to regenerate again. While that's loading, we'll actually have a look at what's changed, or what we had to change. In our map.i3d file, we have a block somewhere halfway called Procedural Placement Masks. These are the references to masks we are actually going to use later on to texture stuff. Or at least those ones are, when they are generated, these ones are the base masks that we actually use to generate the other masks. For example, the building's borders are all generated from buildings. Some masks are over here. They have both a base version and a generated version. Usually this means, for example, the buildings layer, we're cutting out things like roads when they run through the buildings. We just strip out the concrete of the buildings and replace it with the road stuff. We have some slope masks, but basically we added this block with mask references. Every file should point to the texture file in the masks folder. At the end of the file, the rules block, all the rules we added, clear all first to start, then the create border script that we were referencing, but then for every layer we have actually which layer we want to texture and all the textures, same as in the editor, but how it's saved. So all these rules are pre-added to the i3d file before Maps4FS even starts generating. But now you have them in the map file. Afterwards you can also edit them in code. We added the rules, but then when we look at the trees, can we find some actual trees? Trees, forest. These objects that are scattered are not a reference. We also had to add it. So we're in the procedural placement block. Over here in objects, we need to add a reference for every tree actually we want to spawn. We have some type settings. Those are the distance types. In this example, we're using it to create distance between the parent trees and the small trees. The small tree can be closer to a big tree, but big trees can never be that close to other big trees. Stuff like that. That's how we added the stages of most of those trees. These are the foliage layers. Grass, or maybe the dry branches we add in the forest, but also the grass. This one is special, terrain detail 2, to actually create the fields. That's about it for the rule section. We have the objects, we have the rules, and then we have the types. Those are the distance masks. It's the same table you can see over here. Okay, it finished generating. I don't see much difference in the slope. But more importantly, I think I was looking at this and our regeneration didn't work, and I kinda expected it wouldn't. Is there still something I don't grasp with how the masks are cached in game or in the editor? So can we look at an example? I think over here in the acres file, we're actually looking at. Okay, so we have displays over here. We already removed this part from the mask, that's why we're not seeing it. This one has been colored in. We see it over here, it's colored in. But in the same folder, when we go to our generated acres file, this one, we'll see it's still a gap. So our generation isn't working correctly. That's why it's not recoloring this. We can check this on the foliage layer by looking at the generated acres, and we'll see it's still hollow. I don't really know how to refresh them without completely reloading the editor. So that's what we're going to do. Once it's reloaded, we can just rerun the procedural placement run, and it will regenerate the correct files as it has refreshed the masks. And then at least the area should be filled in. I've noticed the map, or at least the border generation, generating of the extra masks is more of a one-time thing. All our rules are active, so I'll just run. Instead of running it every time to regenerate the mask and have the refreshing problem, is after once you have them, just skip generating and it will generate much smoother. I think they also recommend it in their own example scripts, that mostly the borders are only generated once. It would make sense to first create a base layer, and once you have the base layer, maybe edit it by hand with the terrain painting tools. So, I think we saw all the scripts. We saw the map file, we saw the copy file, and that's about it. And finally, our field is painted, and we fixed the mistake. Plenty more to go. Now that it's loaded, we'll have a closer look. Some of the generated roads. We should flatten the roads actually somehow. I've noticed in the when writing scripts there's a spline mask. I think we might be able to generate masks directly from a spline given a certain width. That might be very easy to generate roads. So, we'll see.